A company uses an existing external cloud Azure Active Directory (Azure AD) service to manage the corporate credentials for all employees accessing the corporate network. The company has recently expanded its use of AWS and would also like to implement single sign-on (SSO) so that these users will no longer have to explicitly log in to each company AWS environment. AWS Identity Center has been configured to integrate Azure AD as the external identity provider (IDP) using the SAA-C03 prototype, which supports the automated provisioning of SSO users. The setup of tailored customer-managed IAM policies is required to facilitate this SSO-based access for specific groupings of authenticated users across multiple AWS accounts. How should user access be configured to meet this requirement within AWS Identity Center? Use AWS Identity Center to directly configure the required set of IAM policies? Use AWS Identity Center to configure custom permission sets? Use AWS Identity Center to directly configure the required set of IAM roles? Or use AWS Identity Center to configure predefined permission sets? The correct answer is, use AWS Identity Center to configure custom permission sets. User access should be configured using AWS Identity Center, formerly known as AWS SSO, to configure custom permission sets to implement the custom set of IAM policies that are required. Within AWS Identity Center, each AWS permission set is a role definition set up to manage user access to multiple AWS accounts. There are two types of permission set: predefined permission sets, which hold a single predefined AWS managed policy, and custom permission sets, which can hold AWS and customer managed policies as well as inline policies. In the scenario, given that AWS Identity Center is integrated with Azure AD as the external identity provider, IDP, defining custom permission sets will allow custom IAM policies, i.e. the tailored permissions, to be mapped to specific groups of users authenticated via the IDP.